My fellow California voters, I would like you to know something about Proposition 33 and the Costa Hawkins landlord law. First of all, Costa Hawkins is the major cause of high rents and homelessness in this state. And I'll tell you how that works in two parts. One, that law was written by and for landlords and passed in 1995. The main reason for the law was to stop California cities and counties from enacting any more rent and eviction regulations. Before 1995, a few cities, such as Santa Monica, Los Angeles, Berkely, San Francisco, were successfully holding down rents and protecting tenants from unfair evictions. So, the richest landlords got together, put their money together, and had their guys in Sacramento, Jim Costa and Phil Hawkins, get this law passed. One thing the law does is to prohibit any rent regulations by cities on buildings built after 1995. The landlords also used their organizations to pressure other California cities to not enact their own regulations. As time passed, lots of new apartment buildings were built, and none of them could have their rents regulated. In cities that already had rent regulations, Costa Hawkins said that no new buildings built after the rent control ordinances were passed could be regulated. For example, since Santa Monica's rent regulations were first enacted in 1978, no buildings built after 1978 in Santa Monica could have their rents regulated. In Los Angeles, it was buildings built after 1979. The main effect of this law was to guarantee landlords all over the state that they could raise their rents as high as possible because the law is on their side, and that's what the law allows them to do. In effect, this law was encouragement to go ahead and raise your rents to the max. So in effect, the law said to the landlords, don't be afraid to evict tenants who can't pay the new rents. There will always be new tenants who have the money you want to demand from them. Since the law is on the landlord's side, there's nothing to stop them. Even in rent-controlled cities, Costa Hawkins says that when an apartment becomes vacant, the city cannot regulate the rent on the new vacancies. Eventually, all the apartments that have rent regulations will lose those regulations whenever tenants move out. The hope is that one day soon there will be no more rent regulations in California. In the part two, what I just described in part one is how Costa Hawkins causes homelessness. It encourages landlords to push rents to the limits and to get as much money as they can. As a result, in 1990, the U.S. Census found that California had just over 91,000 homeless people. In 1995, Costa Hawkins was passed. In 2023, last year, the census found that California had over 181,000 homeless people. In other words, since Costa Hawkins was enacted, the population of homeless human beings in California has doubled. In fact, the homeless population has gone up on average by 4,000 people per year. As you can see, Costa Hawkins is a homeless making machine. It won't stop unless we stop it. Also, there are millions of Californians, individuals and families, who have a place to rent, but who are worried sick that they might be the next ones to have to live on the streets. Proposition 33 will only do one thing. It will repeal Costa Hawkins, so that California cities and counties will be free to regulate rents for their citizens if and only if that is what their citizens want. Prop 33 does not force anybody to do anything. It does not raise or lower any rents. It does not punish any landlords. It just brings democracy to local governments so the people can decide what they want to do. So please join me and vote yes on Prop 33. Thanks for listening.